Welcome back to Lek Channel. Today, I will recap Charlotte. So, we start with this high school student named Yuu Otosaka. This guy can jump into someone else's body for 5 seconds and take their powers. Pretty cool, right? Anyway, he's all about using his power to get the best grades in school and get into a top high school. He's sneaky and copies everyone's answers during the entrance exams. And guess what? He gets the highest score and gives a speech to the first-year students. Total genius move. Now, Yuu's good-looking and smart, so all the girls want him. But he ain't interested in just any ordinary girl. He hears about this famous and beautiful girl named Yumi Shirayanagi and sets his sights on her. He comes up with this plan to impress her big time. He saves her from a car accident, and boom, she falls head over heels for him. They become all lovey-dovey and stuff. But hold up, trouble comes knocking on Yuu's door. He gets summoned to the student council room because they suspect he's cheating. They want him to prove he's really that smart by answering some exam sheets. If he fails, he's gonna get kicked out. Yuu tries to cheat using his power, but he gets caught in the act. Then, this student council president from another school named Nao Tomori shows up. She's got evidence that Yuu cheated with his superpowers. She's on to him. Panicking, Yuu makes a run for it, but Tomori's partner, Jojiro Takajo, who possessed superhuman speed, starts chasing him. Yuu gets seriously injured and faint in a river. And guess what? Tomori beats him up with some invisible force. Ouch! So Yuu wakes up at home, and his sister Ayumi tells him they're transferring to a special school for people with superpowers, called Hashinami Academy. Apparently, their powers disappear as they grow up. The next day, they move to a new apartment with Tomori and Takajo's help. Yuu joins the student council at Hashinami Academy to stop people from abusing their powers and getting caught by scientists who wanna experiment on them. It's all about survival, man. In class, Yuu's with Tomori and Takajo. They want to grab some food in the cafeteria, but it's packed. Takajo uses his power to snatch some food, but it goes wrong, and he gets hurt badly. Poor guy. They have a meeting and get info from this guy named Kumagami, who can track other superpower users. They go to this place and find a sketchy student buying some questionable stuff. They nab the guy, who turns out to have the power of spirit photography. He tries to shoot arrows at Tomori, but Takajo jumps in and saves her. Crisis averted. Tomori spills the beans about scientists who want to use superpowered folks as guinea pigs. She's been through it with her own brother, who went insane from the experiments. The next day, Yuu and Takajo hang out in the cafeteria. They gotta meet up, 'cause Kumagami's coming back. They catch a suspicious person and paralyze them. Turns out, it's someone working for a TV producer who wants to exploit this transfer student named Yusa and her special power. They kick some ass, mentally and physically, and make the producer back off. Tomori convinces Yusa to attend their school, and she introduces herself as a transfer student. Everyone goes wild for her, 'cause she's an idol. Exciting stuff, right? Kumagami's back with a new mission. They investigate this baseball player named Arafumi Fukuyama, who can control his throws with telekinesis. They find him, but he doesn't believe them and refuses to listen. Tomori challenges him to a baseball match, and if he loses, he can't use his power anymore. They win, and Arafumi promises to stop using his power. But Yuu possesses his body just to prove to Tomori the true extent of his power. Gotta keep things interesting. The next day at school, Yuu sees Tomori getting beaten up by some other students. He's clueless about what's going on, but instead of helping, he just watches. Then, Kumagami comes back to the student council room. This time, they encounter a person who can fly. Tomori found some info about an incident. so they head out and set up camp in the forest to monitor the person. Yuu and Tomori are alone, and he gets curious about this song she always listens to. He gives it a try, and it brings back memories and makes him feel calm. Nostalgic vibes, man. The next day, they finally meet the person who can fly. They tries to blackmail him with the footage, but he takes the camera from Tomori's hand and fly up high. But you take control of his body and almost fall to death. Talk about a close call. After you safely landed from flying, Tomori warned that person not to use his power while in the air, because these powers are like an illness that comes and goes with puberty. Meanwhile, Ayumi got sick and decided to stay home and rest for a while. At school, Kumagami showed up again. They planned to swing by Yu's apartment as that is their meeting spot. But they left Takajo behind because he wasn't invited. They bought groceries and headed to the apartment. When they got there, Ayumi's classmates were visiting. Most of them seemed fine, but one had a creepy look. Yu didn't notice, but when Tomori and the others arrived, Ayumi was overjoyed. She even had a nosebleed when she saw her idol. They all had porridge together, and after eating, Yu and Tomori washed the dishes. Ayumi thought they were a perfect match and suggested that Yu should date Tomori.
Not happening.
The next day, Ayumi felt better, but Yu had a bad feeling and told her to stay home. Of course, Ayumi didn't listen and secretly went to school. On the other hand, Kumagami got word that Ayumi was heading to school, so they rushed there, sensing trouble. At school, Ayumi's classmates hated her because the boy she liked had feelings for her. Out of revenge, one of the girls wanted to kill Ayumi. In the end, Ayumi was cornered, and her power of undermining was accidentally activated, causing the school to collapse. Yu panicked and searched for Ayumi in the rubble. But the buildings collapsed, and he got buried under debris, causing him to pass out. When he woke up in the hospital, he received a heartbreaking news that Ayumi had died. Yu felt devastated and blamed himself for her loss. He lost his motivation and became a loner, just eating noodles and watching TV all day. Later on, Yusa and Takajo tried to reach out to Yu, but he ignored them. Then Yumi showed up, wanting to pull him out of his slump. However, Yu got angry and asked her to leave. Worried that he might be forcefully arrested, Yu left and went to a gaming place. Yu got addicted to gaming and his personality changed. He used his powers against his friends who were daydreaming, even scaring one person to death. As a result, Yu became the top delinquent. When Yu wanted to try illegal drugs, Tomori stepped in and kicked the stuff away. Turns out Tomori had been watching over Yu from the start. She took him to Takajo's empty house and cooked the food that Ayumi used to make for him. It brought back memories, and Yu couldn't help but cry. After that, he decided to return to school with them. The next day, Yu went back to his normal school life. Later, they watched Yusa's latest music video, which got Takajo all excited. Tomori invited Yu to a Xian concert since it was her favorite singer, and the songs made Yu feel nostalgic. When Yu got home from school, he accidentally bumped into Sarah, the blind vocalist of Xian. They talked, and Sarah sensed Yu's desperation. Yu shared about his younger sister's death and asked Sarah to accompany him to the hospital to meet Tomori's brother, who was also a Xian fan. Sarah sang a peaceful and calming song that helped him relax and remember Tomori. The following day, Yu and Tomori attended the Xian concert. But in the middle of it, Yu felt dizzy and fainted, triggering his memories to return. He remembered that Yui and Ayumi were being held captive by scientists and had become friends with Kumagami. They were planning a mission together. When Ayumi's power was discovered and cracked, Yu immediately searched for someone with telepathic abilities and rescued them. And Kumagami's comrades would help them gain their freedom. Yu freed Shun, who had the power of time leap, and he opened his eyes, ready to go back in time and change the world. When Yuu woke up in the hospital with Tomori by his side, Kumagami met them there. Kumagami wanted to take them to a secret place to meet Shun. They found Shun, who had lost his sight, and he explained his power of time leap. Shun had gathered other superpowered teens and formed a group 3 years before they were captured by scientists. However, using his time leap power repeatedly had deteriorated his eyesight, and he would lose it completely if he went blind. Shun's plan was to establish a school and protect superpowered students until their abilities naturally disappeared as they grew up. He asked his partner to erase Ayumi's memory of his whereabouts to maintain their peaceful life. Yuu is informed that the true power involves taking away other people's powers. Then Shun himself wants Yuu to take his power and save Ayumi. After obtaining the power, Yuu uses Time Leap to successfully save Ayumi. Then Kumagami picks up Yuu and takes him to Shun's location. Kumagami and Tomori are captured by some bad people because of their powers. Yuu is trying to rescue them, but he accidentally activates his destructive power, causing the building to collapse. Tragically, Kumagami dies while protecting Tomori. Yuu wakes up in a hospital and learns that Kumagami has died in that incident. After recovering, Yuu and Tomori discuss saving the world, which leads them to a solution: taking away all superpowers worldwide. Yuu starts going to other countries to take people's powers one by one. This action slowly drives him insane and causes him to lose his memory. After successfully taking away all the powers, Yuu loses consciousness. Fortunately, his brother Shun comes to his rescue. When Yuu woke up at the hospital with Tomori by his side, they explained everything that had happened. Yuu had lost his memory, and Tomori explained that she was his girlfriend. Yuu had kept a record of Tomori's gifts, which made her happy to know that he loved her. This anime ends on a happy note. And that's the end of the story.